It's going to happen. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. The Texans, they're a few months away from being the national media type pawns. Do you like it, though? Let's talk about it in the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop.
It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can see me right here Monday through Friday and beyond. The season's about to pick up. The content's about to pick up. If you missed the Gary Kubiak, Cole Beasley videos, check those out. Spoiler alert, there's going to be plenty more where that came from. I've been talking to some folks about hopping on. I think you're going to enjoy the content continuing to come through as training camp approaches in one of the Texans' most exciting, most anticipated seasons, I should say, in a while, is close. And with that is going to come a lot more attention. And the Texans, for a few years, and really even at their best, I don't think they were getting this much attention and this much national love, but they're getting it. And it is a result of their success. It is a result of the way in which the Texans have run their organization, the way that they've handled stuff, and all that. Now, there's another team up 45. And shout out to my old producer, Figgy Fig. He used to be in his feelings, kind of exaggerating when I would say down 45, but up 45 is the appropriate way to bring it up. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys' attention, for better or worse, it doesn't necessarily depend on success. It doesn't depend on excitement. It's just, it's, I don't want to call it low-hanging fruit, but you look at the TV ratings, you look at the topics, even when it's not a slow news day, the Dallas Cowboys are constantly forced into the conversation. And I'm just going to say this right off the top. What's going to happen is the Houston Texans are going to become a pawn for the Dallas Cowboys and the way in which they're talked. And let's just take like a couple of looks at just how the Cowboys are used. I mean, two guys, like if I asked you to name, and I'll ask you in the comments, shout out to all the people in here. Hell, we can say loopholes. So shout out to all the loopholes. If you watch, you are one. If I asked you to name the two faces of hot take media, the extreme opinion guys, who would you say? If you were if you were gonna bring up the hot take guys, who would you say? I think first you would probably say Stephen A. Smith. I think he's up there. He's on the Mount Rushmore of that. Brandon Pimpson, right on cue, says Stephen A. What has Stephen A. started doing in order to increase emotion? He started trolling the Dallas Cowboys. That's what Stephen A.'s done. So he takes the Dallas Cowboys and he trolls them. That's part of Stephen A. Smith's bit. Another national media type. I think you are leaving someone out. If we're talking about this format, Skip Bayless used to do a show with Stephen A. Smith. Skip Bayless has suddenly become like the biggest Dallas Cowboys fan in the world, which I think is pretty wild. If you go back and look at his history of covering the team and the way in which that kind of went down, it's kind of wild that now Skip Bayless is like the face of Dallas Cowboy fandom. And he shapes his lips enough to act as if he is he's like the biggest Cowboys fan. But that's what national media types do. And there's a hilarious video that with Skip Bayless that kind of reemerged the other day that I think we might take a look at. But the reason that I'm bringing up the Cowboys and I'm bringing up the Texans is because what's going to happen and what is already kind of began to happen is the Houston Texans are going to be used as the team to kind of poke at the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to happen. It's going to be CJ Stroud or Dak Prescott. Which quarterback would you rather have? Which is the best team in Texas? The Cowboys aren't even the best team in Texas. It's the Houston Texans. So here's the question I have for you. And many of you are diehard Texans fans. Most of you are. That's the whole purpose of this thing. How is that going to make you feel? And if for me, like when it comes to the Texans, I think Stephen A has no credibility when it comes to the Texans. And I'm not one of these guys who likes to protect the house. I think he has no credibility. I think the way in which he talked about the Texans after the Coley and Lovie Smith era, and he took that low-hanging fruit and he said things that were just disgusting and counterproductive to the reality of the situation. And now all of a sudden that never happened. I think Stephen A. Smith, when it comes to the Texans, he has zero credibility. And there's probably some fan bases that say he doesn't have credibility on their thing. I don't dispute the greatness of Stephen A. Smith. The work ethic is second to none. He's in an interesting spot. He's in an interesting situation. He's about to make $25 million. So good for him. Don't even think he's a fraud. Don't think it's as simple as just saying outlandish stuff. But as someone who covers the Texans and who hosted the top show in town and did digital content and followed everything, I think the way in which Stephen A. Smith spoke on the Texans, I thought it was pathetic. So nothing he really says is going to make me feel any type of way. I don't take Stephen A. Smith opinions and say, wow, he said CJ Stroud was a top 5 quarterback. And I actually find that kind of funny as well, because sometimes you'll see fans, not all fans, I'm not generalizing all, but you'll see whenever Skip Bayless says anything, it's 99% of the time it's, oh yeah, Skip Bayless is a hot take guy and blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as he's rooting for your squad, it's like, yeah, did you see what Skip Bayless said? That's an interesting thing. Man, I have had good experiences with Stephen A. Smith, actually, though. Like so I had to spend a week with Stephen A. Smith once upon a time. We'll do a little story time here before I throw out these hypotheticals. So when I was with ESPN during the NBA Finals, and this was up 45, the Stephen A. Smith had to record his show in our studio. And I basically had to be his on-site guy. I basically had to be his on-site producer. I had to set him up, get him shells if he needed them, just basically whatever he wanted. If he wanted to print something, whatever. If he wanted anything, I was basically just there for him. I would be doing extra work. I'd be doing shift, but if Steven needed anything, he'd do it. I forgot who he was hosting a show with, but I think it was back in the ESPN New York days. Stephen A. Smith, when I first went down to get him, he walked up, he called in the studio. Hey, it's Stephen A. It's like, all right. So I went down to the elevator, got him dressed. You know how Stephen A. dresses, dressed to the nines, all that type of stuff. He's walking, but he's got his cell phone to his ear. And I don't even think the iPhone was out at this time. But he gets on the he didn't ask for no coffee. No, he didn't ask for no coffee. But he gets on the elevator and it's kind of awkward because he's having this phone conversation and he's on the elevator. I forget what floor. I think we were on like the 6th or something. And he's like, "Oh, baby. Oh, don't say that right now. I gotta work, baby. Oh, you about to get me in trouble. You about to get me in trouble. Oh, whew. Oh, what? Oh, my gosh. Woo. Oh, hey, don't. Oh, man, I got to go do a show now. I can't believe you just said that. Oh, man. All right, I'll call you back when I get out of here." Flips the phone down. We finally get to the floor. "Hey, what's up, brother?" Stephen A. Smith. Just pretty cool dude, man. And this was a little bit pre like him blowing up. He was on his way for sure. And he was kind of one of the stars, but he's sitting there. I don't know if they were about to, they were like talking dirty to each other on the elevator. Stephen A. Smith. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, my brother? But he was a pretty good dude. Honestly, I didn't get a picture with him or anything. I just thought that was kind of weird. Cause I just kind of, I mean, it was literally Monday through Friday. Or Wednesday through Friday, something like that. So he was in the studio. So it kind of became like a routine thing. But yeah, he was on the phone, and someone on the other end of that phone was getting all Stephen A. hot and bothered. So I'm going to ask you this, and how would this make you feel as a Texans fan? Because all I ever hear is, and it is the locker room. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. Only going to increase. Thanks to everyone for the awesome month last month. We had Kubiak on to end the month. We had Cole Beasley on to start this month. Got a few guests lined up that you're going to be excited about before camp and throughout. Probably going to get some Texans players on here as well. Still in good there. But be sure to subscribe, like, right along. How does it make you feel? Like I'm going to throw out two hypotheticals to you. How would it make you feel if Stephen A. Smith, whenever the Cowboys are playing the Texans, he's basically wearing a Texans jersey and cheering on the Texans and talking about the Texans being the best team from Texas? Like, how does that really make you feel? Like Stephen A. Smith sitting there standing for the Texans. Do you consider that cool because the Texans really, like, for the majority of their time, haven't gotten like a lot of national love? Or does it just kind of make you feel like, whatever, F Stephen A. Smith? Same thing with Skip Bayless. Like, let's pretend that the Texans tap the brakes out for the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. What if Skip Bayless decides to do like some sort of skit where he's throwing away his Cowboys jersey and he's putting on a CJ Stroud, and now all of a sudden he is the biggest CJ Stroud fan in the world? How would that make you feel? Yes, the Stephen A. I did bring that up. It was pathetic what he said about McNair in the middle of the Coley Levy Smith thing. I thought that was pretty bad. But how would that make you feel? Would you just feel kind of like a pawn? And here's the other part about it. And I'm not saying this like talking crap about the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys can be a decent football team. I don't think they're just complete trash. They obviously have a dead coach walking in McCarthy. But do you even think that the Texans need to be connected to the Cowboys? In other words, like, the Texans have these high hopes. You have a roster that everyone's excited about. You got the best roster of players under 25 years old. You got a quarterback who, if you had a quarterback draft and you talked about star power, this guy would be near the top. You have the defensive rookie of the year. You got an awesome coach that everybody wanted last offseason. Like, what do the Cowboys even do for you? Like, what is being looked at as they're better than the Cowboys and they're the best team in Texas? What does that even mean? What does that even matter? Like, shouldn't your goals, if you're the Texans, be a little bit bigger than that? Now, obviously, there's going to be the buzz, and I know that there's a lot of people. If you put out a poll to all the folks, loopholes, et cetera, and you put out a poll and you asked, hey, who do you want to beat the most? For some reason around here, some people would say Cowboys. The obnoxiousness, all that. Hell, you go to the tailgate, there's some signs that say F the Cowboys. But they're not in your weight class right now when it comes to the future and perhaps when it even comes to the present. So with all this low-hanging fruit that national media types grab, isn't it kind of that the Texans are going to be that team where it's, hey, we're just going to all of a sudden Talk about the Texans being better than the Cowboys. Shouldn't there be better goals than that? And you already have it going on. I think this is Houston Stressens. Shout out to Stressens. He does a lot of aggregation of clips and stuff, but Ryan Clark is already doing it. This was Ryan Clark on it was one of the shows, I think First Take. This was him talking about the Texans Cowboys.
You finna get that in the playoffs this year. You ain't finna get that built up. You saying that the Dallas Cowboys fans are now sitting at home saying they gonna win the championship? No, they ain't. I know Dallas Cowboys fans. They are trying to be Houston Texans fans right now.
See, that's where it's going now. And that's just what is going to happen. It's inevitable. And I mean, they're not. If the Texans are what you think they are, the Cowboys, like, that's such a small deal. Such a small deal. Voss, I think you probably speak for many. He says, personally, I just hate hearing the BS from friends that are Cowboy fans. They put on their Cowboy glasses, never see the BS in front of their own eyes. Like the team is about making money. And I think that's the thing. And I think this happens to me a lot. And I think we're all guilty of this. One of my mentors, like when I first started radio, I forgot who he hated. He hated a player. It might have been Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or something like that. But he said something like this. He said, man, I don't hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady fans. I think a lot of times that's what happens is you don't necessarily hate the actual guy. You don't necessarily hate the actual team. It might even be a team of guys that you somewhat respect, but you end up developing a distaste for that squad as a result of the fans and all that type of stuff. So I can understand that. I just think that they're not quite in the same class as the Texans. I mean, you have it right here too. We just win ESPN. Let's go to FS1. This is Craig Carton right here. Here he is right here.
The Jar says the Houston Texans now own the state of Texas when it comes to football.
It's happening. The pawn thing is happening. Whether y'all like it or not. It's happening. And a lot of people like it. Hell, we had this on Fox Sports NFL today. I mean, this graphic was thrown up there. Getting that stuff going. Which offensive core would you rather have? I mean, you obviously take Stroud over Dak, especially if we're talking future. Mixon and Zeke, Mixon, CD over Diggs at this point in their careers. Although if we're gonna put the entire receiving core, I think the Texans could get the nod, and then I think Ferguson's better than Schultz. So you have that, but it's there now. That's kind of where we're at with this. Is the Texans are just going to become a national pawn of Dallas Cowboy type of stuff. Did y'all see the story about Titus Howard? Titus Howard, he left his truck. All right, let's just pull this up. This guy's something else. This is Titus Howard on X, and Pro Football Talk ended up picking this up. But Titus Howard said, tell me why I done let my truck slide into a ditch of like 4 feet of water. Well, half the truck. I'm going to need somebody with a tractor to come pull it out so I can get it towed. Larry Tunsil said, bro, what? Titus Howard said, long story. Debbie the Texan, of course, being nice lady she is said, "Oh no, hope y'all are okay." I don't know what to do about this guy. So he then put up some pictures. And I haven't even looked at these because I just kind of browsed over it because I think Titus is just interesting character. So he put this up. Play with it to my songs, baby, turn it up a notch. Okay. I guess he's going up. All right. Then what are we doing? And I guess that's his truck. So I guess he got a ride with someone. And then I guess he's getting some help here. So the tow truck and all the folks are helping him out here. Got the Modelo. He turned it down? Come on, Titus. You need that, brother. Man, you need that. If you've had a day like that, it might be one of the best beers you can have. So, yeah, I guess he got some help on this. And they're getting his truck out. So, okay, Titus. Whatever you say, my friend. Seems a little bit wild, but hey, I'm glad he's safe. I'm glad he's safe. Good for him. Man, come on, Blue Boy 9. You ain't got to do it like that. Come on, man. Even Titus's truck is injury prone. Come on, bro. Yeah, Modelo is good beer. That's some solid stuff right there. Truck is on the IR. Funny thing is when he's a bad trash talker on X, man. He's a really bad trash talker on X. I don't know if y'all heard this news. But the Tennessee Titans, they might be back, man. I know I've been critical of the old Oilers, and I've been really critical of the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they might be back. I'm a little bit fearful of the Tennessee Titans at the moment. And here's my reasoning, because apparently they had the biggest acquisition of the season today. And it kind of went under the radar, but I mean, if any other team could get this, I mean, the Patriots would still be winning if they had this. Well, the Texans might still be winning. If anyone gets what the Tennessee Titans got today, apparently, you're going to have a hell of a season and a hell of a time, because apparently the Tennessee Titans acquired a time machine. They signed the ghost of Jamal Adams, and this is how they announced it on their Twitter. Adding All-Pro plus Pro Bowl talent to the roster. And they put a picture of Jamal Adams. They didn't say we've added Prez or whatever he does, which, by the way, like, you're tweeting and then you're putting your own hashtag. Like, what is that? Jamal Adams. That's kind of whack in itself. But adding a Pro Bowl and Pro Bowl talent to the roster, they got a time machine, man. And let me just give you some facts. And this is from Buck Rising, who covers the Titans. Jamal Adams has not played in more than 9 games since 2021. He has not played a full NFL season since 2018. His first Pro Bowl season with the Jets, that was in 2018. He was first team All-Pro in 2019. So I don't know what the Tennessee Titans think they got in Jamal Adams. Maybe they're going to move him to linebacker. Maybe they're going to move him to like some sort of like specialist. But I thought that was interesting where they said we signed Pro Bowl talent and all pro talent when Jamal Adams has been washed for a long, long time. He was bad in Seattle. He was really bad. He was kind of a disaster. He was more worried about going back and forth with Jets fans. I find that hilarious that they're talking about all pro and Pro Bowl talent. How far back are we going? I think the Colts are a problem too. I think they're a serious problem. I think they're getting slept on as well. I think Shane Steichen's really, really good. But I can't believe they said that. I thought that was a little bit wild. Y'all are being crazy in the comments today, which is always a good thing. Going to be really, really fun time for sure. Driving to Nashville, ready for the locker room. Shout out to you, my friend. How far is Nashville? How far is the drive to Nashville? I've driven from Texas to Cali a couple times. Driven from Texas to Cleveland. I've driven from Texas to Kansas, Florida. I don't mind the driving, man. Like, especially when you're just chilling. Good drive is like kind of good for the soul sometimes. You just roll the window up, down, rotate. Nashville, though. Shout out to Nashville. And the Tennessee Titans and that damn time machine. Patty, shout out to you. Shout out to Brandon Blue Boy. Michael, the Chiefs need to fear the Texans. See, I don't think the Chiefs need to fear anyone. Until you're past the Chiefs, like, and their season's over, there's no reason that they would fear you. And even then, I don't know that they would. I don't think that the Texans need to fear the Chiefs, though. But, yeah, I don't think the Chiefs fear anybody. I think they're kind of past that for sure. Definitely past that. When we make it to the conference finals, then I can say we're the best team in Texas. Yeah, because it's been a while for the Cows too. For sure. It's been a while. 12-hour drive. Okay, Nashville. Okay, shout out to that, man. That's like, see, I'll go one stop. Driving from Nebraska, 12-hour drive. Okay. Shout out to that. That drive sucks, though. I think it's almost worse than driving to Cali because all the damn cotton fields as well. Top G. Colts are trash too, bro. Stop giving them credit for nothing. AR-15 is just another DeMarcus Russell. Who the fuck is DeMarcus Russell? Excuse my language. I think you meant Jamarcus Russell. I don't know how those guys are at all alike. I mean, there's one thing that those guys have in common. But as far as the way they play, I don't think that Jamarcus Russell and Anthony Richardson are at all alike. And I'm not a Jamarcus Russell fan, so or an Anthony Richardson fan. I was a Jamarcus fan. I like Jamarcus. I just liked him because he was freezing in 55-degree weather, and I always thought that was relatable because I hate cold weather. It's kind of how I judge my quarterbacks. Relatability. Sometimes talent, sometimes relatability. But when I saw Jamarcus Russell and his country ass in like 55 degrees was like trying to get a heater and like putting that on, I was like, man, I can relate to that guy, among other things. But yeah, I'm not even big on Anthony Richardson. I think the Colts are quarterback proof. They got Flacco as the backup. I think that Shane Steichen's a good coach. And they were close to making noise last year, and they got a healthy Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, I don't think they're trash, and I damn sure race card don't think that Jamarcus Russell and Anthony Richardson are at all the same. Philly fell off after Shane left. Colts will be right there with us for years if Shane stays. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's a head coach. They're not going to get rid of him. No doubt about that. Am I the only one who's going to be 100% tuned into the Hall of Fame? Hell no. Are you crazy? It's going to be the first game of the year in the NFL, the new kickoff rules. So you got to get a look at who's competing for the kickoff spot. We're 3 weeks away from that. No, that's going to be sick. And you're going to get a look at the depth guys because I doubt too many of the starters are going to play. So, you're talking about the depth, the back end depth, running backs, like they're going to get to eat. Hell no, you're not crazy for that. That's good. I mean, the Hall of Fame game is going to be sick. National TV, football's back, Texans, like that. Basically what happens in those preseason games outside of like, if you watch it locally, then sometimes it turns into them talking about like the fourth string deep snapper. By the way, starting deep snapper might be on this show very, very soon. Shout out to my guy, John Weeks. Might get to talk to the longest tenured Texan before camp. By might, I think will. But I think like the best thing about the national thing is it's just going to turn into a talk show about what they think about the Texans. And it's going to be the national A-team guys. It's not going to be Spencer Tillman and whoever else or anything like that. That's going to be badass, dude. That's going to be a sick game. That stream after that, I bet you we get at least 1,000 deep after that. The post-game shows in here. And by the way, post-game shows after every Texans game immediately after the snap. Best post-game show in town. You guys who've rode with me, you know how it is. It's going to be even better than ever. We've been doing it the last 2 seasons. Going to be insane. And it's going right after the games. So yeah, it is going to be fun. That Hall of Fame game. Don't threaten me with a good time. I'll give you a loophole. I don't know what that means, my friend. I don't know what that means. Are the Colts going to be better with Richardson at QB or Flacco? I mean, what do you have to do with Richardson? Like, that's my thing. Let's say Shane Steichen, like, we know he can throw the ball deep. We don't know if he's accurate. There's very, very reasonable doubt that he can stay healthy. He's going to have Jonathan Taylor back there with him. So you think they're going to be running zone reads. They got Pittman. They got Adonai Mitchell, who I think was the best receiver to come out of Texas this year in the draft. He should have been a first-round pick. They got a pretty good defense, and their offensive line and secondary are healthier. So I don't know. I don't know how much healthier they got to be. But that Hall of Fame thing, it's going to be sick. It's going to be real nice. Can't wait. Now, you ain't going to be the only one. See, these are the diehards right now. I was talking to Stutes about this today because we got some other stuff popping for the season. But, right now with the slow time, which hasn't been that slow, to be honest with you, been dominant in the Texans digital game. These are like the diehards, like y'all are diehards. You'll get the others in as well, and that's when it'll get real crazy. Titans are going to run a similar defensive scheme the Ravens run. I mean, the Titans defense kind of scares me with Simmons and Sweat up front. I'm more intrigued to see what their offense looks like. That's my thing. I don't think I should keep my game day ritual this year of taking a tequila shot per TD. What do you think? What do you mean? This is the time to do it. You kidding? Yeah, you damn sure better. Yeah, get that going, man. You've got you're going to be 4 or 5 maybe in. That's perfect. Over the course of 3 hours, some chasers. Get you some of them Ronas, all that. podcast time. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot digitally and who knows what the hell else. Really hasn't felt slow this offseason. It's because of the extended season. Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's no such thing as slow. I just watched Receiver on Netflix. I'm itching for the season to start. I have 2 episodes left, so wifey actually likes that show. So I'm up to, where am I at? They just beat the Eagles. Devontae Adams is whining. He's kind of annoying. Do y'all? I don't want to like spoil it or anything, but if I was talking about like approval ratings and nothing like crazy, but if you're talking like approval ratings, like in quarterback, I think that Mahomes, Cousins, who else was in quarterback? It was Mahomes, Cousins. Mariota. Like, I feel like Mariota was really the only one who's kind of, in this one, I think I like Jefferson way more, and I already liked him a lot. I love St. Brown, and I always loved St. Brown. I think his dad's hilarious. Kittle annoys me to the same because I've always thought he was a little bit corny. So Kittle's kind of the same. Devontae started out all right, but the whining and being overly dramatic is just kind of meh for me. Michael watching from work, but y'all should definitely watch Receiver. It's badass. I think it's better than quarterback, and I have 2 episodes left. I feel safe in saying that. And part of it is I know that they set this up so perfect because they're going to have St. Brown, his team blowing the game and choking to Kittle and Debo, and then they're going to have Kittle and Debo in the bowl. They're going to have Jefferson get paid. They're going to have Devontae go through like the coaching experience. So there's just a lot of – they just did a really good job of laying this out. So, yeah, it's some good-ass football content, man. The Netflix binges are crazy, and I actually appreciate how they don't make you wait 6 weeks and make you wait like, oh, it's on next week. I actually appreciate that. But sometimes, man, even when you're doing the show and you're getting up and let's say you have to get up at like 7 or 8, you go to bed at like, who gives a damn about Jamal Adams? That's old ass news. No one cares. That's irrelevant. But you get in bed at like 12 and you are watching like a show and you're like, oh, there's 6 of these, man. There's 6 of these and I want to watch. Gosh, all right, I'll start one more and then you just keep going. I'm not spoiling, man. That ain't no spoiler alert. Y'all know what happens in these games every time you see that. St. Brown, yeah, his dad's hilarious. I love his dad. I think he's funny. Greatest offseason in Texans history for sure. Definitely better than quarterback. Jefferson and St. Brown are really likable the whole time. St. Brown's a dog, man. Dude's a beast. They're doing another quarterback, I think. Yeah, I think they're going to do another quarterback. Why do people keep speculating Diggs won't sign another deal here? It's like if all the media guys have a magic crystal ball and can see in the future. Yeah, I don't know. That's true. I don't know. I mean that the reality is it was a team-friendly deal and they ripped it up, which was kind of interesting on their part. But I don't think – it would make sense. You only gave up 19 spots in the draft to get Diggs. It's not like you're heavily invested or anything like that. I know a lot of people want to say that's actually going to be my first question to Caserio. I was thinking about this. This is kind of what goes through my brain. But next week when Caserio is at the podium at camp, I'm going to ask him, and I'm not going to I know some people will ask like generic questions that we've already kind of heard him answer. Like, what do you think about this? But I just want to ask him, I kind of want to put my theory to test and ask him, hey, is it safe to say that when y'all traded with Minnesota and y'all got that second round pick to go back 19, that y'all knew what y'all were going to do with that pick? In other words, was it kind of like a de facto three-way trade. In other words, is my theory right? And he might be like, Landry, look, I'm not here to talk about that, but, blah, blah, blah. You might answer it. I mean, I think it's fair. It's not like it's giving up any insider trade, right? Like, you made a random-ass trade. It makes more sense. So I'm just going to ask him, is that a safe assumption? I would draft St. Brown over Jefferson in fantasy. Damn. My fantasy draft's in a month. Man, yeah, McCarthy with Jefferson kind of scares me a little bit. I mean, can he even like when you have like a quarterback that can force it, like Cousins could force it to Jefferson. Can McCarthy even do that? I don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, St. Brown's a PPR machine. He's already got the chemistry with Goff. So I don't think that's too crazy. I mean, that's a hell of a dilemma. I mean, man, I don't know. That's wild. It sucks that the team does the Hall of Fame game, has a grueling schedule, and doesn't get a bye until the season's almost done. Disagree wholeheartedly. First of all, no starter's going to play in the Hall of Fame game. So that really means nothing. Second of all, the schedule is what it is. And I actually think that bye before you face, and I've talked about this when the schedule came out, I actually think that bye, having Miami late in the season when they don't have a bye, I think that's an advantage. Having Baltimore have to come to your place on a short week, I think that's an advantage. And then Kansas City, I don't know whether there's going to be an advantage or not. So I don't think the Hall of Fame game really impacts anything at all. If you don't like the schedule and you don't like the placement of the bye week, I'm not going to like belittle your opinion or anything like that. But I disagree, and I don't think that the Hall of Fame game is that. If Caserio says this, I'm gonna be pissed, dude. I'm gonna be pissed. But I don't feel like this is like it's not like I'm asking him, hey, Nick, did you try to trade for Keenan Allen? Did you try to trade for Eric Armstead? It's what you actually did. It doesn't really give away like any trader secrets. And I think it kind of puts in perspective and helps him to where all these jackasses who were judging the move and saying, you traded a second round pick for a rental, when you really traded back 19 spots, got that second round pick, and knew that you were going to trade it for Diggs. I actually think that makes him look good. So I think that I don't even think that makes Nick Caserio look bad. It's easy to see why Devontae was so frustrated. He goes there to be with Carr. They release him, and then they give Jimmy G. We're never on the same page. That's fair. That's fair. It's still kind of annoying, though. I do get that, though. He did go there with Carr. That's fair. That's fair. He does like Taco Bell, too, so I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. If you don't like Taco Bell, I don't know what's wrong with you. By the way, speaking of Mexican food, and I know this is kind of a Dallas thing, but they just got, and I know that there's like hipsters that are going to send me your like Tex-Mex, like best Mexican foods. I got a lot of authentic hole in the walls I go to here, Teotihuacan, El Gallo, all the way up Gessner. You go anywhere, like any of those spots, I'm down. But we just got a right there outside of River Oaks, Mi Casina. And I got to tell you, strong recommendations, especially for the drinks. Mi Casina goes in. The Mambo taxis. It's actually very, very reasonably priced, too. Very fresh, very nice. Strong recommendation on the Mi Casina. If you get on those Mamba taxis, get you a Mamba taxi and then get you a Dilemma. Dilemma is like a big-ass frozen drink. Go in, man. Only takes a few, for sure. Get rid of preseason. I kind of like it. Maybe that's me being a football nerd. I kind of like preseason. Voss, you've been active today, my friend. Was thinking about watching receiver. Adams definitely took a fantasy hit without a QB. Same thing could happen to Jefferson. He still it's gonna be wild. Who still eats Taco Bell? Who doesn't? That's the real question. Nick looked super smart for that trade. The Bills weren't looking to make a deal, and he sold it very savvy. I actually think they already had it lined up. I look, if you're going to trade back 19 spots or you're open to it, you don't do it that early. You try to get a team that's desperate, and then you figure something out, and that's how it goes. I think that they just looked at it and said, we want a receiver. Hey, Buffalo, what's the price? Oh, you want a second-round pick? Okay, Minnesota wants a quarterback. It's actually pretty smart. I'm going to trade back 19 spots. Give me that second, and then we'll throw it to Diggs. Because, I mean, you guys, I talk every day about the Texans. Like, you can go back, you can take all the dumb stuff I've said, and you can also, like, take the storylines throughout. Like, as soon as they made that trade, we said, what the hell is Caserio up to? That was the topic that we were talking about. Man, what is Nick doing? Why is he trading with the Minnesota Vikings? And some people said, well, maybe he doesn't like anyone in this area. Maybe they want two. Maybe it's like the 2-year plan. They're trying to stockpile picks. But then you go back to the situation where they tried to trade with the Chargers. What the hell is Nick up to? Fair question to ask. I thought it was literally the title of a video. What are we doing? What's Nick doing? Oh, okay. I see you. Let's see what's going on. The plan. Right there. What are you doing? I think it's kind of blatantly obvious. Hadn't caught a stream. Keep up the good work. Keep it up, man. It'll be here. There's going to be a lot of content throughout the day. Once the season begins. Lots. And there's already still plenty. Pretty consistent, for sure. If y'all ever in Dallas, go to Williams Chicken. Spent a month there, 2005. Nah, you're tripping, brother. You don't know. You're wrong. You're wrong on that. You're wrong on that. That's not where you go. Let me show you where you go if you're in Dallas, because you're wrong. I can tell you this right now. It used to be cash only. This place hopped so hard that they had to rebuild the spot and give it like a better layout, because it was causing so much traffic. This is what the old spot looked like. Let's see. Yeah, this is the old joint right here. So if you go to if you're going to Texans versus Cows, Rudy's Chicken right here, man. Rudy's Chicken all day. That's the old joint. I mean, people come up be begging for change there, but it was causing so many traffic jams that they got a new one. So now they upgraded it right here. So now this is the new Rudy's right here. They've put it up, but I mean, that stuff is so damn seasoned. They slapped the pickle. They got the fries, all that. Sometimes you'll go up there, they'll be out of stuff. It's Rudy's Chicken. Believe that. Trust me on that. If you're on the way. Babes is legit too. Babes Chicken goes in if you want to sit down. If you want to sit down and feel nice, go out there to Babes Chicken in what is it, Roanoke? I think that's where that's at. Babes ain't bad. What are you doing? It's the question I ask myself every time I see the Titans signed another washed-up player with Adams and Ridley. I would be worried if it was 2017. Yeah, they did the same thing with Hop last year, and they signed Julio Jones. Herman, you and I got something in common, mi amigo. Anyone else in the media doubting us again, talking about we're going to regress? Get the heck out of here. See, for me, like, I don't know what regression looks like. Like, I know there's like an absolute, and I know we're over like progress over results. So this isn't like the first 2 years of the Caserio era. So I'm not saying that, but the like if the Texans make it to the divisional round again and they lose, do I say that they didn't make any progress? I don't think you can say that. Like, what did the maturation of Will Anderson looks like? What does the overall state of your roster look like? Like, are there guys that you didn't anticipate making impacts that made impacts? Like, I don't think they have to go to the AFC Championship game for me to say that they 100% got better. And in other words, like if the Texans, if the Colts had beat the Texans last year, or let's say that's scenario one. Scenario two, the Texans beat the Colts, but then the Jags don't choke against the old Oilers / Titans. And then the Texans get their ass whooped by Buffalo instead of hosting Cleveland. Like, am I supposed to be any less excited? Sometimes you get some bad breaks. I don't know what like extreme regression looks like. I don't even know how it's possible with this squad at this point. It's hard to imagine. Like, this doesn't feel like a team to where, like, at the very worst, like let's say that they have some bad luck and they start, like, you still think they're going to be in the picture, like when you're watching a Sunday night game, a Thursday night game, a Monday night game, and the national guys put up the in the hunt type of thing. Like, you got to feel like it won't get that bad. So, yeah. So Babe's Chicken is like a spot. So what happens at Babe's Chicken is you go there. This is like in DF Dub. They don't have this here. This is just if you're going to Dallas and you want to check out Babe's Chicken. So they bring it out family style. And they have cream of corn, which is off the effing chain. Mashed potatoes, green beans, and they have some gravy, biscuits, and it's either chicken fried steak or chicken. And this is exactly what it looks like. I think it's like 16 a pop, 17 a head, something like that. But this is like in Sanger. But yeah, this is what it looks like, right? That's exactly what that looks like. That cream of corn is heaven right there. But that's what Babe's Chicken is. Goes in. But Rudy's is more just like a drive-through, few bucks, get you a 2-piece or something like that. But if you're like saying, hey, let's go out to eat, and like usually when you say let's go out to eat, you're not getting fried chicken. I mean, maybe you'll end up with like a chicken fried steak, or maybe you'll get some chicken tenders or something. But like, just as far as like good ass fried chicken, I think there's a couple in DF Dub. If you're going up there, and hell, the game's on Monday, so it might be perfect. Saturday or Sunday. Babes goes in, man. Babes goes big time. In. I hope you do well in this show, man. I've never been happier, my friend. It was inevitable that things were going digital. I was happy to have the 2-year head start. Always love sports radio, big fan of it. Don't miss doing that show, just to be honest with you. Don't. But yeah, I mean, this is great. And shout out to 610 and what they're doing. They're figuring themselves out too, heading into camp. But yeah, I'm going to be fine 100%. Already the top local digital guy. Got the still going to be credentialed. Still got a lot of stuff going on. So I appreciate you for rolling with me, riding with me. There's going to be a lot more, and it might be some head-to-head matchups. I'll just put it that way. I think the real question is, what can D'Amico Ryans do with the additions we have on defense? We've seen what he did with a whole lot of nothing. I mean, a whole lot of nothing. That's kind of rude. I mean, I'm not saying that they had the 85 Bears. What? that is a reference that doesn't go away, does it? The 85 Bears defense. Like we all say that. I guess it's a good example, but I mean, they had okay guys. He did get the most of some guys and have to use that pixie dust a little bit. But yeah, Babes is unlimited, all you can eat for sure. You should always be honest. Yeah, I'd say that. I make fun of that and then I say it. I always say to be honest, and then for Melbourne, Australia. Shout out to you, my friend. What time is it in Australia? What time? This is global stuff right here. Shout out to Melbourne, Australia. How what time is it there? Man. I've never been to Australia. I'm too scared of kangaroos, to be honest with you. They terrify me. Can you imagine just like walking down the street, like how we see like frogs and stuff? 2:30 p.m. Shout out to you, Luke. Damn, man. That's what's up. Appreciate you. You just walking down the street and like how we see frogs or freaking turtles or armadillo. I mean, we don't really see armadillos, but whatever. You just see a freaking kangaroo. He's mean as hell, man. It says he has 2 kangaroos in his backyard. Man, are they mean? Mean ass dudes. So speaking of that, I've reached out to a couple people to come on the stream. There's going to be a couple. Houston royalty for sure over the course of the year. Trust me on those two. I think I'm going to get Weeks on. I talked to him. He told me, man, nobody wants to hear from me. Y'all want to hear from John Weeks, right? He's the longest tenured Texan. He's a likable dude. I like him. He's a good dude. So yeah, we got Weeks on. I think I'm going to get perhaps Brian Robinson on, who played with Diggs, also played with Keenum, and he also mentored Danielle Hunter. So he's my favorite Longhorn player of all time. Not kidding. And I've developed like a text every once in a while type of relationship. So I'm going to talk to Robinson about what it was like mentoring Danielle Hunter, Case Keenum, and Diggs. Because he's the one who did the Diggs date your sister. We might go through that a little bit for sure. Man, so I wouldn't mind getting Arian on. The last time, though, that Arian was on like a podcast, he went on with Figgy and them, and he got kind of headline porn. I forgot what he said. It was something about like the old era or something like that. So I don't really want to headline porn him. And Arian's got podcasts going now with Barstool and stuff. But I've always gotten along with Arian. Sat by him at a poker table at Wade Smith's event. Smitty's going to come on too. But we got plenty of going on. Kush, perhaps. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of Texans fans are more afraid than ready because of the success we had last year. It's a good time to be a Texan. I think that's a straw man argument, my friend. I am not feeling that. Maybe your timeline and your interaction is different than mine. I do not know too many people who are scared right now. I actually think that if there's anything, there could be some overconfidence. I do not feel what you're feeling, my friend. I appreciate you for sharing it. And I share your excitement. But no, I don't think like the same old Texan feel and stuff. I think it's just kind of gone. You've never had a quarterback you're this excited about. You got the coach that's kind of the chosen one. You're getting an uncanny amount of love. You got star power. Yeah, I don't know, man. Scared maybe, but yeah, I don't know about all that. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Gonna make some changes to the background. I actually got over here, so I was sorting all my like media passes and stuff, like credentials, whatnot, Super Bowls, national championship, all that crap. little ALDS action. Cotton Bowl. The draft party where CJ was drafted. Super Bowl Cavs. NBA Finals when the Cavs beat Warriors. So I'm going to try to get all this background taken care of. I got some stuff coming in either tomorrow or the next day, so I'm going to even that out a little bit. And then who knows, man? Hopefully that's taken care of before the season. Be live on the scene whenever the season starts, and we'll see what goes down. Still got that Stevie franchise signed magazine. I got the Yow. I actually raffled off the franchise at a gathering. I got a Yow. I got the Yow mag. I got Kobe right here, Kobe basketball, and then he gave me a sweatband after a game when I was a kid. Kind of sick. Right over there. That was back in the day. That was like in the number 8 Adidas days when he gave me that. But yeah, whatever. Who cares? I digress, but it's all progress because good times are ahead. Please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to like. Please know that Gary Kubiak and Gary Kubiak and Cole Beasley, wrong white guy. I made fun of my man for saying Jamarcus Russell and Anthony Richardson, and I end it doing the same damn thing. That's just the start. This stream, consistent during the offseason, even during the slowest time, videos popping up throughout the day. That's just the start. It is going to get even better. The top radio host in town for the last few years is only going to do more and more. And as you know, when it comes to this Texan stuff, and when it comes to the locker room, I take a lot of pride in covering this thing. I take a lot of pride in doing this thing. And I also think you all know that when it comes to this stuff, we're all in it together. What an effing time to be alive. Week away from training camp. Let's eat.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.